Hey everyone, KennedyHawk here from Marvel Champions Monthly. This is another video series that I'm starting that's not necessarily a gameplay series. We're not going to play games of Marvel Champions in this video series, but we're going to go through each hero and talk about aspect cards that combo with that hero very well. So hopefully these will act as little seeds to help you guys grow decks that you want to build. So different cards from each aspect that work with a specific hero that can work as like origin stories for a deck for you. So today we're going to talk about my favorite hero from the core set, Black Panther T'Challa. So when T'Challa starts up, he's able to grab a Black Panther upgrade from his deck and add it to his hand. So he'll always be able to pick an upgrade that complements or fixes the weakness of whatever aspect you run him with. On his hero side, he's just got pretty generic stats, 2/2/2 with Retaliate 1, just solid. So let's look at his kit really quick. And there'll be a couple cards we focus on. He's got 2 alter ego actions. So he's got Golden City, which is basically like a super Avengers Mansion, but in alter ego form only. And he's got Ancestral Knowledge, which lets him shuffle cards back into his deck. And that'll be important for us here. He's got his 4 Black Panther upgrades. So one's a damage dealer, one's a damage dealer and healer, one's thwarting, and one is sort of AoE attack. So those 4 will be important to know. And then he's got a ton of resources. So we're going to be able to play expensive cards pretty much whenever we want. And we have these Wakanda Forevers that come with all sorts of resource types. So we've got 5 cards creating wild resources in our opening deck. So anything that requires you to match a resource type is going to work pretty well with Black Panther. So I've got my 4 co-hosts down here. There's Crimson, Americano, myself, KennedyHawk, and Lester. We each have one aspect we like. So I tried to pick cards from each player's aspect that I think would combo with Black Panther well. So we're going to start with Aggression, because Aggression Black Panther is one of my favorite decks right now. Lester would be super proud. And I have 3 cards here for us to inspect that combo well with Black Panther and possibly each other. So the first card, Enraged. I really like this card because of Shuri, and I'm going to make Shuri way bigger because Shuri is just as important as Black Panther in her kit. Shuri has an amazing ability. 2 cost, you get a 3 health ally, so she at worst is 2 for 3 thwart. Response, after she enters play, search your deck for an upgrade and add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So you can grab any upgrade you want. A lot of people will use her to grab these Black Panther upgrades, but we can grab upgrades from our aspect as well. And this is one reason that Enraged is really, really good. With Shuri, let's say you were on your second deck pass and you've already got your Black Panther upgrades out there, you can grab an Enraged and then you place it on Shuri. So Enraged, you can place up to 1 on an ally, or 1 per ally. It gives the ally +2 attack and they take an extra consequential damage. So if Shuri had 2 health, that means she would disappear in 1 hit. But now we're going to make her a 3 damage attacker. She'll take 2 damage each time she attacks, but that means she can do 6 damage over 2 attacks instead of 3 damage over 3 attacks. That increases your tempo and your damage output. So I think Enraged is a really good card that pairs with Shuri, and she can just pull it right out of the discard pile for you. So, not out of your discard pile, sorry, out of your deck for you. So Enraged, really good upgrade that works with Shuri. Alright, here's another card, Mean Swing. Mean Swing is from Thor's pack. It's a hero interrupt. When your hero makes a basic attack, exhaust a weapon upgrade you control to give your hero +3 attack. That gets Black Panther into the 5 attack range. If he has combat training, the 6 attack range, so he's one-shotting Madam Hydra and stuff like that. That's crazy good attack. And the best news is 2 of your upgrades are weapons. So I don't know if everybody's looked at all the traits on all the cards, but both Energy Daggers and Panther Claws are weapons to trigger Mean Strike. So Mean Strike, really good with Black Panther, and it's going to combo with this other card, Yarnbjorn. Yarnbjorn is also from Thor's pack. It's restricted, so only 2 restricted cards in play per player. Not going to be a problem so far in deck building. And response, after your hero attacks an enemy, spend a fist resource to deal 2 damage to an enemy. So that's just really good in general, right? We have all these wilds. We have fist resources in our Wakanda Forevers and in Shuri and other things. So every time Black Panther attacks, you can pay a fist to make his attack basically 4, right? Damage something for 2 and another thing for 2, or the same thing for 2 twice. What's even better is when you play Wakanda Forever with all 4 of your upgrades out, Panther Claws is a special attack. So it can trigger Yarnbjorn. Vibranium Suit is a special attack, so it can trigger Yarnbjorn. So you pay 1 for Wakanda Forever, you've got Yarnbjorn out there, you could move 1 damage with the suit, hit for 2 more by paying a fist, do these other 2 things, hit for 4 with the claws, pay 2 more for a fist, all because you played 1 Wakanda Forever. So Yarnborn really combos with Vibranium Suit and Panther Claws, and Mean Swing combos with Energy Daggers and Panther Claws and Yarnbjorn. So you get like a 3rd weapon to use for Mean Swing. So if you had 3 Mean Swings in your hand and all 3 of these weapons out, you could add 9 damage to your attack. That's a one-shot of some villains. That's amazing. The other good thing that I'll point out with this for Black Panther, and then we'll move on to the next aspect. We don't want these videos to be too long, just short and concise. Show you guys some pretty cool combos you can do with different aspects for each hero. Shuri, since she can fish up upgrades, she can find Yarnbjorn. The one way they balanced Yarnbjorn is it's unique. You have to, have it show up in your deck. It might be the bottom card, it might be the top card. Well, with Shuri, you basically have 2 copies of Yarnbjorn in your deck. You play her the very first time you play her, you grab Yarnbjorn, and that changes your entire game. So, 3 aggression cards. Ironically, all 3 of these are not from the core set. So if you want to try these out, you're going to have to get expansions to try them out. So I believe this is Captain America and 2 Thor cards. So next, we are going to do protection. It's kind of the inverse of aggression. Now you're focusing on defending. So what do we got here? First, we have Energy Barrier. And a lot of these are going to combo together as well. So Energy Barrier costs 2. It's an upgrade. So Shuri can fish it out, which is always good. And you can, once it's been used, shuffle it back in with Ancestral Knowledge to use it twice on your first deck pass or something. Basically, when you would take damage, not from an attack, but any amount of damage, you can remove a counter to reflect that damage. What's really good about that is with Protection Black Panther multiplayer, you're going to want to be defending a lot, especially for other people, because you have Retaliate, and that'll be one of the ways you're pumping damage out. Well, if you can pump damage out without taking damage with Retaliate, that's really good. So this is one way of reducing it in addition to your hefty 2 defense. Alright, the next card is Defensive Stance. This is from Black Widow's set. So I'm looking only at cards from the first 4 hero packs in the core set. So it's core set, Captain America, Miss Marvel, Thor, and Black Widow. I'm not looking at Doctor Strange cards yet. I don't have physical Doctor Strange cards, so I'm just dealing with the cards I can shuffle at the table in front of me. So Defensive Stance, another really good upgrade. It's a hero interrupt. When you would take any amount of damage, discard it to prevent 3 of that. So it's basically like a super Energy Barrier. You don't reflect the extra damage back. With Energy Barrier, if you defend and you knock out all their damage because they were going to hit you for 3, you avoid 3 damage and you hit the opponent for 2. That's really good. Defensive Stance just avoids 3, but that's still really good, right? You can let Rhino attack you and use Defensive Stance to take no damage, and then you can defend for your multiplayer partner, hopefully take no damage because you have Energy Barrier out, and now you've done 2 damage to Rhino and soaked 2 attacks without taking any damage. Amazing. So again, another upgrade that Shuri can fish out early in the game, and then potentially Ancestral Knowledge can shuffle back into your deck, so pretty cool. And the last one is an event, Preemptive Strike. When a boost card is turned face up while the villain attacks, cancel all boost icons in that card, then deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon canceled this way. So again, this is a defense event, so with the new RRG, you're going to have to be the target of the attack, so you'll have to either take the defense through an ally or your self-action, or have it be an attack against you. But it's just another way to reduce incoming damage and optimize your Retaliate. Let's say Rhino has 3 attack and he attacks you and flips a 3 boost. Well, if you defended, now he's hitting you for 1. You're hitting him for 3 from the 3 boost icons you canceled, and you're hitting him for 1 for Retaliate. So you take 1 damage, he takes 4. That seems like I think Americano would be proud with that combo. Alright, we're going to move on to Justice next. So the first one here, so these 3 are all from expansion packs. I don't think I planned for it to be that way, but it may have just worked itself out. Alright, back to Justice. So first is another expansion card, Concussive Blow. So you can confuse an enemy. If you paid for this card using a fist, deal 3 damage to that enemy. So you could deal damage, won't necessarily deal damage. But you're going to have a ton of fists, because Vibranium is a good thing to use to pay for this. What I really like about Concussive Blow is a lot of times with Black Panther, you can see like all of these are hero actions, all of these require hero form. So you're really down to just like a handful of cards from your hero deck that even do anything in alter ego form. But Golden City, it does a lot of things. It draws 2 cards. That's like a third of your hand size increased. So that's a huge deal. But a lot of times I have a hard time flipping. I mean, I want more cards so I can get more Wakanda Forevers, but flipping means the villain's going to scheme and all sorts of things. If you can prevent them from scheming so that you can flip more reliably and use Golden City to get 8 card hand sizes and then use more Wakanda Forevers, it's going to lead to more winning by Black Panther. So, really good card. Another card from the Miss Marvel pack. So, Miss Marvel, Black Widow. Ironically. Next card. Another expansion card. Followed. Here's another one that I think is really good because of Shuri. So it's an upgrade. So Shuri can dig it out of your deck. So I like to make Justice like my toolbox deck, right? There's not a ton of side schemes. There are side schemes, and they can be really annoying. And Justice kind of suffers with damage. You've got your Black Panther upgrades, so hopefully you can get a ton out. But Followed is a really good way to get some damage out there. And with Shuri, you can pull out whatever upgrade you need at that moment. So a lot of times you'll get Followed in your hand and there won't be a side scheme. And you're like, okay, well that kind of stinks. What a dud card. Guess I'll just use it as an energy resource. But if you have Shuri and you have a couple Followed in your decks, maybe 2, side scheme might not come out right away. It comes out eventually and you draw Shuri. Well, now you can grab that Followed exactly when you need it instead of hoping that you draw it or hold on to it until a side scheme pops. All right, Counterintelligence. So this is the Black Widow card. All expansion cards again. This is hilarious. Counterintelligence 2. So again, you're playing it for 1 card with Vibranium, because if you bring the 3 basic resources, you have 6 cards that are worth 2 resources in your deck. Max 1 per player. When any amount of threat would be placed in the main scheme, discard this to prevent 3 of that threat. So this is an interrupt, not a hero interrupt. This is another reason when you can jump to alter ego form, hopefully pretty much knock out the villain's scheme so that you're able to get those extra cards with Golden City. Again, it's another thing you can fish out with Shuri. It's another thing you can shuffle in with Ancestral Knowledge. So in general, just upgrades are really good with Black Panther. Every time an upgrade comes out in a hero pack, I encourage you to immediately think, how good does this make Black Panther if Shuri can make this card more consistent or make it come out at the right time? Finally, we'll go on to leadership, the best aspect, obviously. So the first card is Strength in Numbers. So one of my favorite things to do with Black Panther is get my deck as thin as possible. And what I mean by that is I want to get as many cards into play as I can. So if I can get 5 heroes or 5 allies, all the better. And then draw as many cards as possible. So I'm flipping to use Golden City to get to 8 cards. And even if I only have 3 allies out and I use Strength in Numbers, I can now get to 11 cards in my hand. Well, if my deck's down to 25 cards, that's half my deck. That means I'm playing probably 3 Wakanda Forevers, maybe only 2, if I'm getting unlucky. That's pretty amazing. I love this card. It's also a good way to extend the life of your allies. So if you want an ally to sit out and make it so you shuffle more Wakanda Forevers in your deck and less other things, they'll stay out there for longer. Or if you say, well, I don't need them to thwart now, but I might later, but I don't want to have them die to some boost card or have them, be dealing attacks and then get pinged for 1. Well, Strength in Numbers is a way to use that ally as sort of a resource while you're waiting to use them for your big push. All right, so again, Captain America pack, so we're looking at all expansion cards here. Finally, we have Rapid Response, another preparation, max 1 per player. After an ally you control is defeated, discard Rapid Response to put that ally into play from your discard pile and deal 1 damage to it. So, like I said, Shuri is really important. This lets you use Shuri twice in your deck through, right? Just like Make the Callwood from the core set, but this one is you can just pay for it up front. So you get this in your opening hand, you play it, and you say, I'm going to get Shuri later, and I'm going to use her to block, and that's going to make me get all my Black Panther upgrades on my first deck pass, because I'm going to use Shuri's triggered ability twice. And that's really, really good. It works well with tons of allies, but it works particularly well with Shuri when you're looking for specific upgrades. And finally, I put in Morale Boost, another Miss Marvel expansion card. I think Morale Boost is really good for Black Panther because he has that 2/2/2 stat line. Almost anyone with 2/2/2 is going to be really good with Morale Boost. Because I think you pay 1, you get +1 thwart. So now, if you are playing as Black Panther and you're playing against Claw, and he gets a side scheme that has 3 threat on it in solo right away, by playing Morale Boost, you can remove that with just your thwart activation. And then you've got 4 other cards to start ramping up your deck and getting better hands and better board presence. In addition, this lasts until the end of the round. So you can play against Claw, remove a side scheme turn 1, and then he's going to attack you, and you can defend, and you'll have 3 defense. So hopefully Claw 1 or 2 isn't going to punch past 3 defense very often. He needs pretty high pip cards to do that. And if he doesn't hit you for 3, you've also done 1 with Retaliate. So I think boosting defense in a non-protection aspect is really good with Black Panther. There was one more card I wanted to show you guys. I just realized that I forgot it. And it is Honorary Avenger. And I don't have it here, so I'm going to pull it up on Marvel CDB and show you guys. I accidentally deleted my basic cards. So we'll undo that. Wow, if I could spell, this would work a lot better. I'm like typing the wrong words constantly. Okay, here we go. Honorary Avenger. So this is a really, really, really good card with Black Panther. So 0 cost upgrade. Shuri can fish it out. She can turn herself into an Avenger for any sort of leadership shenanigans, or give herself 4 health. If anything, you just play it on Black Panther to get more life and thin your deck, right? It costs you 0 extra cards. It's just like you remove this card from the game, and it makes your deck more consistent because you're getting Wakanda Forevers more often. So this is my favorite basic card with Black Panther. I meant to put that out there too, like over here in the city, but forgot to, so I'll get that with the next hero. This was our summary of Black Panther, so check all these cards out. Unfortunately, all 12 cards that I picked for Black Panther are in the expansions. So I know some people have said, you know, Black Panther hasn't gotten a lot better with the expansions. Other people have these obvious synergies. I think these are all synergies within Black Panther's deck, and they all make him really, really powerful and versatile as a hero. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm probably going to do 1 to 2 heroes a week, so I'm not sure what other hero I'm going to do this week, but make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel to get notifications for the next hero origin story. I haven't come up with a title yet, but something like that. Hero, you know, deck idea combo cards. So thanks for tuning in.